Hi, beautiful. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to see you here today. I just want to encourage you really quick to like this video, subscribe, put your notification bell on, whatever you want to do, just so that you can keep getting updates whenever I post a new video, because there are going to be 12 videos total in this series. This video is the Virgo video, the sixth sign of the zodiac. So if you're interested in learning more about this type of energy, then keep on watching. Very nice and fresh. I'm such a dork. Thank you guys for liking me. So, Virgo. Let's give you the general overview. Virgo is a earth sign and a mutable earth sign. So again, we haven't hit this energy yet. So this is going to be like the first of this mix. We already went over other earth sign, which is Taurus. But now you mix that in with a mutable energy like the one that Gemini encompasses, and you get Virgo. You get the Virgin archetype. I feel like that can be misleading. We'll talk about why Virgo has that archetype. So Earth is all about resources. Earth is about security. Earth is about being practical, solid, grounded, long-lasting. So Virgo is going to encompass a lot of that energy. You know, Virgos, they're going to be practical people. They are going to be pretty steady people. I mean, they will be a little bit all over the place because of the mutable energy, but for the most part, like, you'll get a very stable energy from Virgo, and they will be stable with the people around them. It's more so that they can be a little bit all over the place with themselves just because of that Mercury energy that kind of drives them a little nuts. Same thing with Gemini. They're going to be way more solid than like a Gemini, for example. Like Geminis, they're all over the place. They're fun, but like Virgo, they can be a little scattered with their energy, but for the most part, it's pretty constant. Like they're not going to be like back and forth about things too much. Be pretty reliable with who they are as people. They won't like shift on you too much. Mutable is mutable. Mutable likes change. Mutable is adaptable. Mutable energy can integrate with different things when needed. Integrate with new ideas, places, people when needed. They like to be liked. I don't want to say liked, but like a little bit. Most of the time they are liked because they are mutable energy, so they can adapt very well. And so that's why like Gemini, Virgo can kind of like fit in with most people, but Virgos aren't as social as Geminis because they're not air, right? Yeah, Virgos are just like solid, friendly, adaptable people. Predictable but adaptable. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Virgo was given the Virgin archetype, which people find misleading because they think that that means that like Virgos are prudes, and like we can be. I hate sex scenes, so there you go. The whole mythology behind that archetype, the Virgo constellation was named after this goddess. I believe she was like a goddess of harvest. And I think it was something like she blessed the people with like an amazing harvest or something. And that's why Virgo is in like the end of summer, fall time, because that's like the harvest season, right? I think that's why also Virgo gets like that mutable energy, because not only is it like a shift in season, you get like that adaptable vibe. I think from that whole mythological story about that goddess, I believe that like the context of it was that previous to her blessing, like there were a lot of issues with harvest. That's where that comes from. The whole point is like that's the archetype. What is the energy then? What do you get when you mix earth with mutable? What do you get? Following that story as well, you're gonna get somebody that's very helpful, somebody that's very resourceful, somebody that wants to bring about betterness. I'm blanking on the word right now. Okay. Virgos love making things more efficient. That's the word I was looking for. Virgos thrive on efficiency. Something's not efficient or something like is stupid in their eyes, like they're gonna fix it to make it better. So that's like that whole story, right? The archetype, the goddess, she like blessed this bad situation that wasn't effective and made it into an effective one, a better environment for everybody around. That's Virgo. Virgos get tagged as people that like just want to help a lot. Sometimes they can get tagged as like fixers. For the most part, that's where that whole thing comes from. And get when you mix those energies is, yeah, somebody that's going to be quite helpful and resourceful, and that's because of that mutable energy. So they, you know, have picked up a lot of information from multiple different places, because also they're Mercury ruled, so they're gonna have some crossovers with Gemini just in regards to they are very intellectually motivated, but Gemini is a little bit more intellectually motivated than Virgo. Virgo's just very like practically motivated and efficiently motivated. They love new information and they love learning because they want to be more efficient and they want to be better. Like that's it. As smoothly as possible. Virgos love that. Because they are earth energy, can sometimes, I don't want to say boring. I hate saying that earth energy is boring. It's not boring. It's just like stable and reliable. They also have a focus on like wellness and health. And I mean, it kind of again ties into that whole like harvest story, right? Because if you don't have nutritious food to put in your body, you're not going to be healthy and you're not going to be productive and you're not going to be efficient. So that's funny how that kind of ties in with all those Virgo traits. Virgos are going to have a bit of an emphasis on just healthiness and like cleanness. And that's why Virgos like get that stereotype as being like clean freaks or like health freaks. You might notice if you're heavily influenced by Virgo energy, you might be really into fitness and health. Right? Want to pursue, you know, career in nutrition, even a doctor. Virgos love fixing shit. Virgos love making things better. Virgos love seeing people thrive, but like being the reason why that person's not thriving. It's like, I told you so. If you try this detox tea, I swear you're going to be so much healthier. They just love helping people, especially with matters relating to health and stuff. They're a very intelligent sign because they are ruled by Mercury. They have strong communication skills, very detailed about the way they communicate. Example, be thorough. They don't want to fuck anything up. They want to make sure everything's perfect. So let's dive into the pros of Virgo. Virgos, like I said, they're very practical. They are detail oriented, so they're big time perfectionists. So if you want a project that's done like perfect, go to a Virgo. They'll make sure that it's amazing and perfect up to your standards. They'll notice little details that other people might skim over. A big thing with Virgos is that they can be quite modest, so you'll never feel like they're bragging or like taking the limelight from you like a Leo would. They are quite humble, really kind of like bad with compliments and stuff. Like they're the types of energies that like to work behind the scenes more so. Like to just kind of like put their head down and get down with the details. And when you make things perfect, there's a lot of trial and error and there's a lot of failure that goes with that. I feel like that's why Virgos kind of like to work in the shadows a little more, like behind the scenes. It ties in with them being pretty private. If you're someone that likes to have a more private life, or if you're someone that really wants to have a conversation with someone and keep those details like on the low, talk to a Virgo because they're very private. They don't like talking about personal things with people for the most part unless they're really close with them, and they're just very like self-conscious of how they come across. It's almost like they're looking at the world from their own little like cubicle in their mind. I don't know, they just really know how to like filter things. That's the one thing Virgos like don't want to look stupid or like doing something half-assed. Like they will never do that, and if they do, they'll just like hide it in their closet for the rest of their lives. Another big thing with Virgos is that they're really good at discriminating right from wrong because they're so analytical. So if you're trying to like trick a Virgo into believing something that isn't true, they're probably going to catch on because they've analyzed everything. They're going to say things how they are. Might be a little bit cold with the way that they say things or the way that they are about things, but like you know that they're not sugarcoating things and you know that they're not making things bigger than they actually are. It's like they like to do things right. They like to kind of play by the rules. Like it makes sense to a Virgo. Like if a rule makes sense to them or like a set of directions or whatever, they're gonna follow those to a T. Like they're not gonna stray from it because they love direction and they love order and they love just like following things like that. I feel like Virgos sometimes too like just have this like innocence to them. I think that that kind of ties in with that whole Virgo Virgin archetype of like the purity. That's the one thing, like Virgos, I feel like they're quite sincere. They're pretty organized with their shit. They're pretty dependable with their shit. Like if you have a school project with a Virgo, you know that they're gonna like pull their weight and like probably do the whole thing for you. Kind of like fun and quirky with their humor, and it's kind of like dry, so that's kind of why it's funny, I guess. They'll take good care of like the people that they love. They'll make sure that those people are taken care of and like are healthy. And Virgo will be the type to like take care of that friend that is injured. They like notice everything. If you're in a crisis and you're like, oh my god, okay, like do you remember like where my keys are, or like, do you know like where I went this time? Yes, like I don't remember what happened. You know, they have all the details. They'll tell you what happened, how, when, why, what color shirt you were wearing. Like they'll give you all the information you need and be really useful when you're kind of like not there mentally. So like they'll never forget your birthday, never forget your anniversary. Virgos can kind of just like, they kind of just go with the flow too, which is cool. That's that mutable energy. They just kind of like, I don't know, and the earth too. They're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, we'll do whatever you want to do. If it makes sense to a Virgo, they're like, sure. As long as it's not like fucking really dumb, they're like, they won't do it. If they're just gonna be like, you know what, I don't think I want to do that. I'll tell you why they think it's dumb. They'll try to be nice about it, but it will still come off as bitchy and people will still not like them for it. But how Virgos are just like steady and like, you can depend on them to get things done properly and how you ask them to do it. Like, I don't know, they care about you more than you care about you. They'll give you a lot of like cool facts. The one thing about Virgos is that they are really good friends. A friend that like tells you that you shouldn't do something and you go and do it, but they still your friend after because they're like, it's okay. Not everyone can be as perfect as me. Just really love saying I told you so. No. So let's dive into the cons of Virgo. The thing that really bothers me about me and about other Virgos that I've encountered is that sometimes like we can just be way too anxious. It has to do with like our perfectionist ways, so how detail oriented we are. Like that can really drive you crazy after a while. You notice everything and are critical as well. Another thing, we're super critical. If you're critical, analytical, and a perfectionist, that's like a soup of anxiety waiting to erupt. It's not anxiety, it's just gonna be like nervous energy that you feel is kind of running you. It'd be tough for them and tough for other people because they have such high expectations they put on themselves. And so that can cause anxiety, but it can also cause anxiety for the people around them. Not only do they put those expectations on themselves, they put those expectations on everybody else. And that's why I feel like sometimes Virgo can have a hard time settling down with people, or they have really high expectations and they're really fussy and picky. And so if you're not like doing things the way that they see as best, or if you're not like up to their standard, then they're not gonna like you as much as like they would otherwise. They'll still give you a chance because they're super nice, but yeah, for the most part, Virgo like can't handle that. A hard time watching other people do things in like inefficient ways, so that's why they can kind of get that like snappy bitchy mom energy, like no, let me just do it. Sometimes that's why they also aren't very good with groups or like cooperation. They'd rather just like work on their own because they have these like high ass standards that can be annoying. We can really be annoying because we're fussy and very like to just be a certain way. We want things to be done the Virgo way. And so, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, then why don't you just do it yourself? And that's exactly what ends up happening. And like unrealistic expectations that like are kind of impossible to meet. They're such perfectionists. They see people as like projects sometimes and feel like they need to fix certain people. It's like, from our perspective, we just want to help you. Choose that sometimes people don't want unsolicited advice. That's the one thing that Virgo can do really well. They can give you unsolicited advice. You know, they assume that everybody else is on this like quest to perfection when that's just not it. And sometimes people just want you to hear them out. People need to take their like own insight and wisdom and not somebody else's, and Virgo just doesn't understand that. Like they can be rude when like they feel like you're criticizing them, or like when they did something, they went out of their way to do something for you and then you didn't appreciate it. Like that's a big thing. Like Virgos need to feel appreciated or else they're gonna get salty AF. Critical, I don't know if I mentioned that already. With Virgo, like something that you thought was amazing, but then they'll be like, oh yeah, that's really nice, but like, would you make it another color, do you think? Or like, why don't you like make this look like this instead? Or like, you know what would really make that look better? Like they're like that. And some people just don't like that. Some people just are happy with what they produced, and the reason why they're showing it to you is because they're happy with it. If they were happy with it, they probably wouldn't be showing it off to you. Sometimes it's okay to just like shut the fuck up and keep your advice to yourself because not everyone wants to hear it. And although you mean well, it can be fucking annoying. So Virgos can kind of be boring sometimes with other tastes and stuff, or like the way they do things. Because I don't know, that earth energy just kind of gives you that like neutral, muted energy. Like I just think of like beige. Beige high heels or something with like a matching purse. So like Virgos get this reputation for being like clean freaks and don't know when to stop sometimes either. Like overwhelm other people with like how much they want to do or like how well they want to do things. It's like, oh my god, who cares? Or like you're just like, I don't care for this to be fixed better. Like, or I don't care for this to be better than it is. It works fine the way it is. Like, why do you have to make it better, Virgo? So fussy about things. If a carrot has like a slight mark on it, they're not gonna eat it. Is that they're going to be finicky, but it just depends about what. Like one Virgo might be finicky about like their food, whereas another one might be finicky about their hair and their face or their clothes. Like it really depends what their focus is on. They can come off as know-it-alls. Sorry. It's just, that's what's annoying about Virgos. It's like they have these like high-ass expectations and half the time they don't even meet them themselves. Because of the whole health thing, they can sometimes think that they're dying, like all the time. Like pain in my chest, I'm like Googling that shit real quick. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And then I'm always like to my boyfriend, like, oh my god, I think I have this. Or like, oh my god, what about this? With my cats specifically too, and this is like where like the bitchy mom energy comes in. Always think something's wrong with my cats. Nothing's wrong with them. I'm constantly telling my boyfriend like, oh my god, do you think like our cat this? Or do you think, and he's just like rolling his eyes at me because he thinks I'm crazy. It's like, dude, there's always something new every day. That's another annoying thing about Virgos. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I encourage you to please like this video, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever you feel like doing. No pressure, but I really appreciate it. Just saying. This video coming up. Oh my god, we're already gonna be doing Libra. Guys, we're like halfway done through the series. This is awesome. Libra is next, and then after that, Scorpio. Ready for that one. Did that look weird? Maybe. See you guys in my next video, and yeah, you're awesome. Bye.